Hello and welcome back children to another video of social studies. Today we are going to study and understand latitudes and longitudes. That is our second chapter. Okay? But before that, I would like to ask you all something. Have you ever noticed children? Whenever your parents plan to visit a new place, what do they do first? Yes, they enter the address of that place in Google Maps. And Google Maps tells them all the details of that place, like where it is located, which turn to take, which are the nearest landmarks, etc. But how does Google Map do all this? Because Google Map has some unique codes stored inside it. Like how we all have house numbers, apartment numbers. In the same way, all these places are having a unique code. And do you know what are these unique codes? These unique codes are latitudes and longitudes. So children, watch this video carefully to understand what are latitudes and longitudes and how to locate places on the earth.
So children, this is our planet Earth as you can see on your screen. And there are no lines drawn on planet Earth. Even this line is not an actual line. Can you see this line? Yes. This line is an imaginary line. Okay? And it is called axis. Now why do we have this line children? We have this line so that we can understand that the earth rotates on its axis. Can you see it rotating? Yes. And this is an imaginary axis that we have drawn. But this is not the only line which we have drawn. There are many more imaginary lines that are drawn on planet Earth for our convenience. Let's take a look at these lines. Can you see this black line children? This is one of the most important line. It is called equator. It divides the entire earth horizontally into two equal halves. Horizontally means this way, sleeping line. Okay? The part which is above the equator is called the northern hemisphere and the part which is below the equator is called southern hemisphere. So taking equator as the base, we have some lines drawn here. These lines are called latitudes. Can you see these red lines children? Yes, they are called latitudes. They are parallel and lie at an equal distance. So the distance between these lines are same and they run along with one another. They are also called parallels of latitudes. What are they called children? Parallels of latitudes. The latitudes to the north of the equator are indicated as degree N and those to the south of the equator are indicated as degree S. The North Pole is indicated by 90 degree N while the South Pole is indicated by 90 degree S. So there are total 181 degree latitudes. How many latitudes children? 181 degree latitudes. Now how come 181? Because on top we have 90 and down we have again 90. So 90 plus 90 is 180. I'll tell you how it is 181. We also add this 0 degree, that is the equator. So we get 181 degree latitudes. Okay children? Now there are some more important lines of latitudes too. Let's take a look at them. I've already told you about the North Pole and South Pole. Equator at 0 degree. Tropic of Cancer at 23.5 north. Tropic of Capricorn at 23.5 south. Arctic Circle at 66.5 north and Antarctic Circle at 66.5 south. Children, please learn these important latitudes. It's very important. Similarly, children, there is another line that divides the earth vertically and it is called prime meridian. What it is called, children? Prime meridian. The western part of the prime meridian is called western hemisphere and the eastern part of the prime meridian is called eastern hemisphere. So now, taking the prime meridian as base, we have some lines drawn from North Pole to South Pole. Can you see these lines running from North Pole to South Pole? Yes, these red lines, they are called longitudes. They are not parallel to each other and they are numbered from 0 degree to 180 degree. So there are total 360 degree longitudes. 180 towards the east and 180 towards the west. Okay? The longitudes to the east of the prime meridian is indicated as degree E and the longitude to the west of the prime meridian is indicated as degree west. Now children, we will understand in brief international date line, that is another important imaginary meridian. Children, why I said brief? Because you shall learn about it later in detail in the future classes. So as you know, the prime meridian is marked at 180 degree longitude and separates the earth into two equal halves, that is east and west. In the same way, we have international date line, which is marked at 180 degree longitude too. Can you see here, children? This is the prime meridian that is marked at 180 degree and this is the international date line that is marked at 180 degree too. Both of them are the mirror image, okay? This is the mirror image of prime meridian. Do you know what is the meaning of mirror image? When you stand in front of the mirror, you can see yourselves, no? In the same way, international date line is the mirror image of prime meridian. Now as you all can see on your screen, on one side you can see the prime meridian, that is this, and on the other side you can see the international date line. Children, as I have already told you before, these lines that are drawn on the globe are just imaginary for humans' convenience, okay? So, when we move from east to west of the international date line, we gain a day. That means plus 1 day. Can you see here? Yes. And when we move from west to east, we lose a day. Means minus 1 day. Thus, it is very important to write degree E or degree W when we are writing about meridians, okay? With the meridians, it is very important to write degree E and degree W. So children, now we move on to our last point, that is locating places. Now we are going to see how longitudes and latitudes help us to locate places. As you can see on the screen, the picture shows a grid pattern of the latitudes and longitudes on the globe. It is a network formed by the latitude and the longitudes. Can you see here? and each line is numbered. The grid helps to accurately locate places on maps and globes. The point at which a latitude and longitude meet or cross each other is the exact location of that place. Can you see here? This is the longitude, this is the latitude, and they are intersecting here. So this can tell us the exact location of a place. So to find the exact location, we need two numbers, that is the latitudes number and the longitudes number. Okay children? Let's recap. There are two types of imaginary lines, latitudes and longitudes. Children, I have told you that there are many more imaginary lines, but these two are the very important ones. So that's why it is written over here, two types of imaginary lines. Latitudes are imaginary lines which run from east to west. There are 181 latitudes. Longitudes are imaginary lines which run from the North Pole to the South Pole, and there are 360 longitudes. Longitudes and latitudes form a network of lines called a grid. It helps us to locate places on the earth. Okay children? So your homework for today is draw and label the important latitudes shown on page 8, and you have to learn them also. Okay, the question answers and book exercise I will post tomorrow. Thank you.